Hey, Paul, did you get the sense on the bench when you're down 3-1, the momentum was shifting? Did you get a good feel for that?
It was going to be a grinder. We knew that. And there was enough of resilience in the group, right? And enough leadership on the bench that they were saying the right things. Their emotions were right, even down 3-1, lots of hockey on the clock. So it was a positive bench tonight.
And we'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Paul, you were big on the term "stay in the fight" last season, and clearly that was a perfect term to describe your team here tonight. Can you describe, in that they've been doing this for a good 2 seasons now and continue to do it here, can you describe how that seems to have gotten into this team's DNA, the ability to be able to survive the crashes from the other team and keep going?
Well, I come straight from leadership. Things haven't changed much for us year over year. I mean, we've added some players for sure, but get into this season into back-to-back game with key people out of our lineup. And we know we've got some challenges on our blue line right now. So it won't look a certain way, right? It's not going to look pretty at times. The first periods have been a challenge for us. We knew it would be here tonight. But I think that's the way Blake plays. I think Mark Scheifele clearly, his best game of the three, from a leadership point of view. Josh Morrissey, those kind of guys, I think play their best hockey in that environment, understanding that you can come to the bench after a tough shift, and go back out and just do it again. I guess I should wrap all of this up in our goaltending. I mean, that's the key in our games. Our goaltending's been outstanding.
We'll go next to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Ken.
Paul, you talked this morning about foundation building. What role can a game like that have in the overall process?
Well, really important. It goes back to the first question. The second question there is staying in the fight. That's the most important piece for any team. That the score on the clock doesn't dictate, your effort level, your compete level, and maybe more importantly than all of it, your belief. So that's the foundation that's most important to our team. Build that belief that the next shift can be better, the next game can be better if you need to, coming off last night, and that you're always give yourself a chance to win. I think those comeback wins, but the late comeback wins have a really nice impact on your team, right? You carry those for a number of games. You always feel that you have a chance.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Paul, it was noted that Nikolai had never scored an overtime winner in the NHL. He actually said, well, I have 5 years ago in Colorado when I scored on my own net. I don't know how much you remember of that particular night, but I take it you enjoyed this one a little more than you did that one.
Well, I guess he does though, right?
Yeah.
Nikolai has had some physical challenges here that kept him off the ice. I thought he was a big part of that kind of mounting comeback when he went with Andrew and Paul. That line got markedly better. He was a big part of that. He can be so dangerous, such a dynamic player late in the game. Just the speed to get into that hole and then make the play, right, that finishes it. We just need him. We need him to feel confident and healthy and strong. And when he is, he's just so very dynamic.
We'll go next to Ted Wyman from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Ted.
Hey, Paul, you mentioned the goaltending. What does it do for a team when your backup comes in and has a night like that?
Well, I mean, really with our schedule, the faith is in your game, but in your goaltending might be the most important thing. Just outstanding goaltending. We're thin on our blue line. We know that. Back-to-back nights, the first period, with all the volume, and they're a high volume team, so not every shot was dangerous, but boy, there was enough, and especially the way the first one went in, is greasy, I guess is the way you describe it, a little bit 5-hole. For him to get that solid after that, just really, really positive for us. It gives Connor a chance to get some rest and be as dominant as he can be, and we have full faith and confidence in Lauren when he goes in.
We'll go next to Brian Munz from TSN 1290. Go ahead, Munzie.
Coach, 10 shot attempts tonight for Kyle Connor. Obviously scored a big goal for you. He scored in 3 straight games now to begin the year. You can just expand on the game that you're seeing right now from him?
Yeah, and I don't think he's lucky right now. Like I think he's been, not off it is not the right word, but he hasn't had a lot go for him around the net. The chances that he's generating or getting, well, he could have twice what he has. So it's very exciting for us. There's that neutral zone move that he made. That he does so many dynamic things with the puck, with his body, got around it. Create a great chance for that line and put them back together again. That's our safe place, but it was as much to do with getting Nicky over to the right side with the left-handed center, and Andrew was having just an outstanding game right from the start, getting those guys together. So Kyle is he's scratching the surface here, right? He hasn't been lucky in his start, and he's putting up great numbers.
We'll go next to Marat Tash from The Athletic. Go ahead, Marat.
Paul, both you and Blake kind of mentioned that there were a lot of shots, but the quality wasn't quite as stilted as the shot clock. So when you take away things from this game, obviously there's the big goals and the comeback. How much will you dissect, or how much negativity will there be in the shot volume?
Well, we'll go through it real close. So and I'm not disrespectful about the shots, because they're all chances, right? There's so many shot tips that we're almost near the net. They're good at it. They've identified their strengths and weaknesses very well, and I think they're playing a game plan that's perfect for the team, the way it's built. But you play against teams that will put the puck to the net from all areas, and some of those shots aren't quite as dangerous. But there's their second shift. They got 6 shots on their second shift, and I think 4 of them were dangerous. So before, I'm not suggesting we gave up 40 and that we were a tight defensive team. We've got lots of work to do. And LB was full value on that win. He was the key player to it. But at the same time, those higher volume teams aren't always as dangerous as it looks.
And final question to Jason Bell from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Hey, Paul, thanks for taking my last question here. You know, your club crawls back and gets scratches and claws to get the extra points. And some people will say, well, they get into overtime. That's terrific. And any other extra point is a bonus. But just talk about how critical in a shortened season with 6, 7 Canadian teams battling it out, how big those extra points will be this season.
Yeah, you don't go casually into your overtime now that you play teams from other divisions or other conferences in the normal 82 schedule. What you give up doesn't matter. What you get is obviously important. But here, to get it to overtime to win that game, when you look at the teams that are playing in the Canadian division, this thing's coming down to the last week, and that includes Ottawa. So all of these points, extremely critical. Staying in the fight, you know, the most important thing over this schedule, because we're just going to start to come into a really heavy piece to this, being able to get 2 points tonight, but certainly the one that tied it, really important for us.